welcome back to ContraPeso Noticias. We're glad you're joining us from casting live from Chiapas, Mexico, and Acevedo. Today, we begin this morning with the latest international headlines and stories making news across the world. Neither has just remained Hungary that no piece of infrastructure, no matter how strategic it may seem, it's ever beyond the limits imposed by the environment. The historic decision to shut down the Pac's nuclear power plant for the first time in 44 years was not triggered by a technical malfunction or a political dispute, but a far more difficult adversary to control: a severe lack of water. Critically low water levels in the Danube River have left the facility with virtually no room to operate, as it relies on the river to coal Soviet-era reactor that generate nearly 40% of the country's electricity. The government led by Peter Mayer is already preparing for possible restriction, urging major consumers to voluntarily reduce electricity demand, shutting off non-essential lighting in public buildings, expanding remote work, and even temporarily suspending freight rail service during peak energy consumption hours. According to the Prime Minister, households will be the last to face any restriction. The phrase "every drop counts" is no longer just a slogan. It has become a warning about how vulnerable systems once considered untouchable have become. A zero vendor's temperature up to 42 degrees Celsius and an extended period without meaningful rainfall, the energy crisis is taking on a new phase. One shaped by changing environmental conditions that sustain critical infrastructure. Estimated losses of between 300 and 600 million euros confirm that when water becomes scarce, the economic consequences ripple far beyond the river itself. And after years of political confrontation and seemingly irrecognizable rhetoric, Venezuela's government and opposition are sitting down at the negotiation table once again, with a promise that, while raising hopes, also expose the division that remains between both sides. One can probably describe the process as a democratic transition, while the other insists on calling a strengthening of a democracy. A different new language that makes it clear the debate begins long before the most difficult issues are even addressed. The first meeting, scheduled for next week in Caracas, will bring together a delegation of 6 representatives from each side. The agenda will focus on assistance for victims of the twin network, democratic reforms, and political guarantees. Still, the greatest challenge may not be the list of topic itself, but where both sides can transform formal discussion into meaningful agreements. The process also carries a significant international dimension. Support from Donald Trump's administration for the opposition, bloc led by Zinora Figuerea, along with favorable statements from Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Deputy Secretary Dylan Johnson, demonstrate that Washington continued to play an active role in this new political chapter. At the same time, Venezuela has opened a new economic front with its first technical meeting between the central bank and the International Monetary Fund, focused on monetary policy, exchange rates, and technical assistance. The message is clear. While politics seeks to reopen channels for negotiation, the economic is also searching for new avenues of cooperation. The unanswered question remains the same. Will this dialogue finally produce tangible results, or will it once again become trapped between high expectation and long-standing division? And Greece is facing one of those crises that serve as a powerful reminder that nature doesn't follow calendars of tourist season. At the height of the summer travel season, wildfires are spreading with such intensity that thousands of people have already been evacuated, while the flames had advanced to within just 35 kilometers of Athens. The situation is not only testing emergency response capabilities, it is also exposing the limits of even the best strategy when extreme weather takes control. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis acknowledged that wind gusts reaching up 100 kilometers per hour have made it unsafe for firefighter aircraft to operate. His remark reflects the scale of an emergency in which careful planning is being overwhelmed by increasingly severe weather conditions. The fire began in the Boeotia region before spreading into Attica, leaving behind widespread destruction. More than 16,000 hectares of forests and farmlands have been consumed by flames. Communities such as Porto Gemeno have seen more than 100 homes destroyed, while Megara has watched much of a forest that took decades to recover, disappearing just a matter of days. The human toll has also continued to rise. 3 firefighters lost their life while battling that the authorities describe as a blaze fought at the limit. Images of farmers watching their homes burn and entire communities being forced to evacuate serve as another reminder that as extreme weather events become more frequent, the real challenge is no longer simply how to extinguish those fires, but how to adapt to a climate reality that is really become the new normal. And now we go to a short break and continue with more international news.
Algo nuevo para tu salud está por llegar. Confianza, seguridad, cuidado. Muy pronto descubrirás por qué en Oisha sí hay lo que buscas. Algo nuevo para tu salud está por llegar.
Ubicados estratégicamente, con escritura pública. Disfruta del confort de vivir en un lugar tranquilo con acceso rápido a la ciudad. No esperes más, haz de tu sueño una realidad. En Inmobiliaria Roca, más que inmuebles, decisiones con valor.
No se olvide que tenemos una cita en punto de las 8 de la mañana y posteriormente a las 9:30 para nuestro noticiero completamente en inglés. Soy Ana Acevedo y no olvide que esto es ContraPeso Noticias.
¿Listo para construir el futuro que deseas? En el Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines te ofrecemos desde maternal, preescolar, primaria, secundaria, preparatoria, licenciaturas y maestrías. Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines, formando valores para toda la vida.
Hace Impacto tiene la solución más sencilla y rápida que te puedas imaginar. Olvídate de complicaciones y maquinaria pesada. Con nuestro increíble asfalto en frío, solo necesitas de 3 herramientas básicas: una escoba para limpiar, un pisón para compactar y una palabra de adición para transformar tus vialidades. Así de fácil, en cuestión de minutos, ese molesto bache que te hacía perder tiempo y arriesgaba tu vehículo desaparecerá para siempre. La calidad duradera que Hace Impacto te ofrece es nuestro mayor compromiso. Queremos que disfrutes de caminos lisos y seguros sin largas esperas ni costosas reparaciones. Es tiempo de experimentar la magia del asfalto en frío de Hace Impacto. Para conocer más sobre esta solución revolucionaria y devolverle la fluidez a tus calles, contáctanos ahora mismo vía WhatsApp al 981-829-0201. Tu camino libre de baches está a un mensaje de distancia.
Soy Monserrat González y te invito a sintonizarnos en punto de las 8 de la mañana porque estamos transmitiendo en vivo a través de Facebook, Instagram y YouTube. Recuerda que nosotros somos ContraPeso Noticias.
En el Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines acompañamos a tus hijos desde sus primeros pasos hasta su formación como jóvenes responsables y preparados. Aquí se construyen metas, sueños y decisiones importantes. Inscripciones abiertas. Escríbenos al 961-252-6507 o comunícate al 961-604-1541. desde maternal hasta licenciaturas, maestrías y doctorados. Instituto Hispano Jaime Sabines, formando valores para toda la vida.
Los muebles que tú necesitas para escuelas, oficinas, laboratorios y comercios los encuentras en Giré Muebles. El mejor precio, servicio y calidad es nuestro distintivo. Cotice hoy mismo al 961-2127-068, por WhatsApp al 961-279-4168.
En este noticiero que sabe escuchar, desde la sierra llega el clamor, se alza la noticia como un tambor. Montañas y ríos saben murmurar.
We're back and continue with more news. The earthquake in Cúcuta did not begin with the normal rhythm of a busy border city, but with the explosion of a car bomb that has once again pushed security to the forefront of their national conversation. At 3:20 in the morning, an explosion outside the National Police Command headquarters in north of Santander left 12 officers injured, 3 civilians wounded, and claimed to the life of a police service dog. The blast also caused significant damage to government facilities, vehicles, nearby business, and surrounding buildings. Authorities quickly classified the incident as a terrorist attack. The area was immediately secured so bomb disposal experts and criminal investigators could gather evidence that may lead to those responsible. National Police Director William Rincon traveled to Cúcuta to personally oversee the response and meet with the injured officers and their families. In his statement, they condemned the attack, saying that targeting those responsible for public safety is ultimately an attack on society as a whole. He also confirmed that every available institutional resource has been deployed to identify and capture those behind the bombing. The city government of Cúcuta expressed its support for the wounded officers and the police force, while the Norte de Santander regional government announced a reward of 100 million for information leading of those responsible. Beyond the physical destruction, the attack has renewed concern about violence designed to spread far by striking directly at public institutions while placing innocent civilians in the middle of the conflict. And our last story of the day. Mexico pressure on U.S. immigration policy is no longer confined to diplomatic channels. The filing of 20 criminal complaints over the deaths of at least 17 Mexican nationals while a ICE custody or during immigration enforcement operation signals a significant escalation. Another legal battle unfolded in U.S. courts through a lawsuit filed by the Coalition of Human Immigrant Rights, or CHIRLA, against the Adelanto Detention Center in California. The case paints a picture that goes far beyond immigration policy, placing the spotlight squarely on detention conditions. Overcrowding indicate medical care, poor quality food, and the repeated use of pepper spray are among the allegations involving a facility where 4 Mexican nationals died between September 25 and March 2026. California's own review found that the detained population have grown rapidly without enough medical personnel to meet demand, while testimony included in the lawsuit described delayed emergency care, insufficient meals, and practices that encourage the well-being of the teens. Mexico's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has joined the case as amicus curiae, reinforcing the government's institutional commitment and making it clear that Mexico intends to influence the proceeding through the judicial system as well. The lawsuit also highlights a long history of allegations against Hell Group, the private company operating Adelanto, which has faced accusations of negligence and abuse for years. As U.S. immigration enforcement continues to tighten, these legal challenges underscore that the debate is no longer solely about border security, but increasingly about the protection of human rights inside immigration detention facilities. And that was our last story. Thank you for trusting and keep you informed. Have a wonderful day, and remember, this is ContraPeso Noticias.